has been a massive supporter of arts education in the UK and wanted, because of School Rock has such an arts education focus, wanted to join forces to bring that to the US.
And it occurred to me, it's been occurring to me for a long time that my foundation, which does a lot of work in schools in Britain, it would be great if we could find a way of being able to expand that to America.
My brother is 80, my brother has dementia. My brother is very much alive in me every time I play Andre in The Father. He's doing well, he goes in and out, but I'm not alone in this. I've never played a role in which so many people come backstage and sit on the floor of my dressing room and weep, not necessarily because of my performance, but because of how many of us are dealing with people who are losing reality.
Well, if you didn't already know, I've expanded the digital lottery to 46 seats a day beginning next January 31st.
When I'd always kind of had this time between rehearsal and tonight to sit and think about what I would say if I was lucky enough to be called up, and it sort of informed all of it, obviously. You know, we live in this world where beautiful and horrible things exist at the same time and sometimes on the same day. And so you can't let that go by. You can't let that moment go by, particularly when theater is the cornerstone of you know, theater doesn't exist without the LGBTQ community. It's the cornerstone of our industry.
And yet, I do have 2 small children and a beautiful husband over there. And I know. And I tell you, so this is one thing that's really true, and that is, you just don't do this in your own strength. You just don't. Nobody's that great. Nobody's that powerful. None of us. I mean, you don't do what you do in your own strength. And one thing you become very well aware of, I mean, gosh, it's going to be even harder to go to work now with this. Because people are going to be like, I mean, it's not just the hype of the show, they're going to be like, so she won a total, like, I'm kind of a surprise. You see the show, I was a surprise.
In the middle of all of this thing, it, for me, makes perfect sense in the midst of this performance, just be like, yes, I get to represent my actual self while telling this story, and I think that's part of why Hamilton is so inclusive. I have always aspired to be my father, I always have, and I'm not. You know, we're sort of fundamentally different in a lot of ways, but I try him on from time to time. Meet this outfit right now, you know what I'm saying? This is the thing, I feel great in this because this is some stuff my dad would have wore when he was younger, you know? And he looks so much better than me tonight, it's ridiculous.
I think the most interesting thing that I've learned is that because only one person gets up to accept it, I thought that it was, you get it for a solo effort. I thought that you get it because you're just so fabulous on your own that you can sort of work your way into getting one of these, and I didn't realize what a team of people it would take. I mean, it's like, it's a lot of people. I'm leaning on the support of a lot of people. You know, it's the people that I spoke of in my speech, which is my castmates, but also I used to laugh at the people with the bloated teams, you know, with the agent and the manager and the lawyer and the publicist and the stylist. And when I tell you, you need a good person in every one of those jobs is so valuable. So it's just really so many people that I have to thank.
Career-wise, I mean, I have done a lot of theater that is specific to stories about people of color in varied ways, and also productions that are contemporary. But I also end up doing a lot of classical and, you know, and straightforward music.
That story of how the battle was going to be, how we would make it explosive, you know, and that contributed a lot to the music. So the music is very explosive during that time. You know, a lot of, you know, dips and valleys and explosions.
You know, Lynn and I got to a place, and Alex and Andy share this, where it was almost subliminal. There were times when he would just cock his head and be like, I know, just let me go through the thing. But the reality is, it was such a safe room for all of us that these actors also knew that they were allowed to live in a place where they could explore, and we tried to create that for each other.
I mean, the age, whenever I want to really, you know, kind of illuminate Mary's age, I'll go to that real deep, kind of, that darker sound. Obviously, there are times where I'm really using a head voice when she's like going back in time and talking about convent days and things like that. And then I just thought, you know, this is such a huge play and there's so much dialogue that unless I could find a big range that I could move back and forth with, that, you know, it would become tedious.
You have 90 seconds and you forget everything that you want to say. And what I want to say is, and I always remember this little moment, because I was 20 at that moment. I was a nobody, I was still in school. And she gave me the belief in myself, and that I had hope, and that somebody, and it gave me energy that I perhaps could make it.
And talk to the students and actually pass it around and let them hold it. So I'd say the favorite production is the one I'm doing. It always seems to be that way. So right now it's Shuffle Along, but I've got to say I've been so fortunate and feel so blessed to have this career that's gone so long now on Broadway.